Hello, everybody. Good time. So, Dr. Patugi, so as we discussed in class, we'll not have in-person class on Thursday. So I decided to record this video and kind of use the time. So please watch this video and we'll do it like our previous 2 weeks. I go over the codes, I introduce kind of concepts in Python and the way we do in Python, and then I share my Google Colab page with you, and we do the code together. So if you remember last session of class on Monday, I'm sorry, on Tuesday, we talked about kind of lists, data structures that in general that Python supports. I said that data structures are uh, structures or building that we build using basic data or variable elements that any programming language like Python provides to programmers. And data structures basically try to make it more complex to allow programmers to deal with more complex data. And we started with the list. I said that if you want to define a list, you say this list, you use a name like the exact same convention that you have for naming a variable. You use the name and then you say parentheses, and then you use bracket. This bracket here shows that you're trying to define a list, and we said that list can be a list of items. You separate them with commas. They can be string, they can be float, integers, they can be boolean, and it can be mixed of them. And here we saw the first kind of code that here you see we defined our list, a list of mixed item. And then the kind of interesting point was the fact that when you define a list, for example, you like list 3, you can say list 3, and after you put the dot, it gives you, let me run this code first. Okay, code is run, and now if I say list 3, yeah, and put a dot, it gives me the name of list of functions that I can use and apply on that list. For example, I can sort it, I can reverse it, I can remove something from it, I can insert something, and so on and so forth. We talked about this. So we talked about lists, we talked about tuples. I said that tuples is another data structure that if you want to define a tuple, it's going to be exactly similar to list, the same naming convention, the same syntax format. The only thing which is different is that you use parentheses in order to define tuples. And the difference that we said between list and tuples is that list is a list of items. There's no ordering. Tuples is a list of ordered items, meaning that you cannot change the order later after you define it. You can only add to the end of it or read from the end of it. So let's see the code. Here is the code. If you see here, we have defined tuples as well. I said a tuple of 12, 13, Ahmad, 69, 390, and true. And we use the function count, we use the indexing. I'm now going to introduce another function to you. I can define a variable, I can call it, for example, I, and say I equals len of a tuple. Len is a function, and then later I can say print I. Len is a function that if I start on, if I kind of hold my cursor on, it says returns the number of items in a container. And a container is kind of a general term that Python used to refer to lists, tuples, and dictionary, other types of structures that we will be talking about them today. So it returns the length, basically the number of elements that you see in that list. So let's run this code. Okay, you see it returns I gets the value of 5, and then we print it, which is 5, which is if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the number of elements that we have in our tuple. We can also print from our tuple, we can print any item. We can say print tuple 0, let's say to 2. How about this? Print tuple 0 to 2. Let's see. Let's see if it works. How about this? Print tuple 0. Okay, this prints out tuple. How about this? Okay, so you define, yeah, I kind of confused. Yeah, you define tuples with parentheses, but if you want to kind of refer to a specific cell of your tuple, although it is tuple, you still use bracket. So this is a kind of tricky thing. You define lists as you see here, using brackets, as you see here. List tree is a list, and we define it as a list. If I say on it, it says it's list, but my tuple here, which I defined it here, it's a tuple. It's a tuple containing 5 items. However, if I want to access a particular item in my tuple, I still need to use bracket. So we can say everything up to 0, up to 3, sorry. So as you see that 1, 2, 3, it prints everything up to 3, basically 0, 1, 2. This is our 0, 1, 2. You can say everything from the start to the end with the stride of 2. So we can print with the stride of 2, which starts from 12 and then Ahmad and then through. So you can do all of those kind of indexing formats that we talked about, and we showed them for lists. They also work for tuples as well. And again, the only difference between tuple and lists in terms of when you want to define them, you use brackets to define lists, you use parentheses to define tuples. Another thing is about functions. That you remember that we had a kind of good number of functions available for lists. However, for tuples, it's only a kind of few of them, 2: count and index. Let's see what index says. Okay, value start stop. Return first index of a value. Okay, if I say this is for, let's say, let me change my tuple. I defined it here 12, 13, Ahmad 6392. I defined another 12 here. So we have 2 12. And if I say so if I say print tuple index 12, let's see what does it do. You see it says 0, which means that 12 was found at index 0. If I say, for example, let's say Ahmad, my name, it says index 2. And if I say something which is not in the list like this, it kind of gives you error because it's not there. It's not able to find it. So you gotta initially make sure that that object is already in your tuple, so that then you can call the index function. Let me see if we don't print it, if we just call it Is it still giving us error? Yeah, it still gives us error. Okay. Let me close this item to the one. Okay. And now that we talked about lists and tuples, we talked about the len function. We are ready to define the third data structure that we can use in Python without getting into difficulty of defining and handling it manually. Because something like list or tuple, we don't have them in most of other programming languages, like for example, let's say C or C#, C++. However, it doesn't mean that you cannot define them. We can write a piece of code and create a list, and we can kind of control our list on our own. It's a list of things, and then things can be added, removed. So it's a data structure with a bunch of functions that people can use that. However, again, I said this before, that Python tried to make it easy. So the third one, that again, if we don't have it in other programming languages, we can define it on our own, but it's going to be extra work for programmer. It's called dictionary. What is a dictionary? A dictionary is a data structure that each entry of that comes as a pair of key and value, like an actual dictionary, that you have a keyword, you have a key, and then you have a definition or a value for that. So a dictionary is defined like something like this. Again, you use a name according to that naming convention that we said, and it can be anything. And then you start with curly bracket. Very important thing. You start with curly bracket. And every object that you define, it's gonna have two parts, key and the value, and they're going to be separated. You separate them using a column. You say brand, column Ford, model, column Mustang, year, column 1964. And then you close your curly bracket. Again, you can use the function len to print the length of that. You can search through it, and so on and so forth. Let's go to the code and define. So I'm gonna comment everything we had about list and tuples, and then I'm gonna start writing the code for our dictionary here. So I say my dictionary is, I start with curly bracket. I say, for example, let's do some names and families. How about that? Our key is the first name, our value is the last name. For example, I start with my name. I say Ahmad, column 2G, and then we say, for example, John Brown, and then we say maybe Joe, with no advertisement for any people, just came into my mind, Biden, and then we say, for example, let's say Donald Trump. So we defined it. We can print it right here. We can say print my dict. Let's say, what do we get? Okay, it printed it for us. And then we can say print len of my dict. We said this before. Let's just do it and see. We said that Python is case sensitive, meaning that my dict by uppercase T is different than my dict with lowercase t. Let's try this. It gives error. It says it doesn't know it says here mydic is not defined. If you say mydic, my dictionary with capital with uppercase D, it knows it and it tells you that the length is 4. Let's see what functions we get here. If I say my dictionary dot, okay, we get a bunch of functions here. Clear. Let's see what clear is doing. Most probably it clears the entire dictionary and it's not going to be anything on it anymore. So let's run it. Okay, the dictionary becomes 0 if you call clear. See here, there is nothing inside your dictionary. Basically, it uh, uh, empties your dictionary. And what other function we can get? My dictionary dot copy makes a copy of it. So you can say probably, how about this? Let's say, for example, dictionary 1 equals my dictionary copy. So I'm showing you how we should be using these functions. And again, these small boxes that it opens, they're very helpful because it tells me that how should I use this function. I know that it's supposed to copy my dictionary, but do I need to call it like this, or do I need to pass these to my dictionary? I don't know. Let's try it. So I'm gonna comment this line. We don't wanna. Okay. So we about this. Okay, you see, my dictionary and dictionary 1 now they're containing the same thing. So I use that copy function like this. I say my dictionary dot copy, and I return the value, put it in something else. But do I have to use that? I can also do this. I can say dictionary 2 equal to my dictionary, and this should, I believe this also works. Let's check. How about if, yeah, it works. You don't have to actually use the copy function, but you can. So what other functions do we get? Dictionary 1 dot from keys. Okay, this is important. From keys, it creates a new, okay, as you see, it says it creates a new dictionary with keys from iterable and values set to value. So how about if we say, so it returns something. If we want to use that, we should say something like this. We say dictionary 2 equals dictionary 1 from keys. We say keys maybe Ahmad. Let's see if it works. I guess it also needs values. Okay, you see, it kind of breaks down the items from the how many characters do you have in this word? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it creates a new dictionary. Dictionary 2 now is a new dictionary with 5 entries. Of course, you don't assign any values. How about if you assign a value as well? We say, for example, let's say my family. It may give us, okay, it assign. So it basically breaks the characters of the first key and defines that many, which is 5 here, 5 entries in the new dictionary, and all values are going to be these. So if you say, for example, how about if we say something which is not here? How about that? Okay. It creates 3. So let's see the other function. If we say dictionary 1 get items, of course, search probably for items. Let's see what gets is doing. Yeah, it searches for a key, returns the value for the key. Okay. If I say what is the this is the kind of interesting function of the value. If I say print from dictionary one, get Ahmad. Let's see what it says. Oh, we are calling is here before the two other. So we say go to the dictionary one and find the entry that that has the key equal Ahmad and print the value of that. And here it goes finds. If I say Joe, it finds Biden and print it for me. If I say Donald, it prints Trump. Okay, Donald probably the spelling is different. Okay, yeah, correct. The spelling is this is kind of wrong spelling. Donald, it says Trump. And if you say something which is not in your dictionary, it returns the second. Uh, it returns this one, which is here we said say not found. If we say, for example, X, this one, it says not found. So this is a kind of interesting function that you have for dictionaries, get. So I would ask you please stop this video here, go define your dictionary and go define your dictionary and play or write code with at least 3 of these functions that I didn't talk about. For example, pop item or keys or set default or update. These, see what they are able to do. And again, if you don't know, you can just do it. You say update. I do it for update so that you see again for another one. And I see what it says. It says the function update dictionary object at this address. Let's see. How about if we print it? Let me move it here. Okay, it seems that it only changes the address of the object in the memory. So it, from the operational point of view, is not making a big difference. Okay, sorry guys for the noise. That was my baby boy. So so yeah, this is about the update function. Let's see another one so that before I kind of hand it to you. Maybe mm, the keys function. Let's see what the keys function is doing. Okay, this is again another built-in function. We don't want it. How about values? There is something wrong with my. Okay, these are all. So it seems that out of the, okay, pop, let's try pop. Pop returns one of the, okay, something is wrong with my, pop returns one of the, something is wrong with my Colab or browser, but pop returns one of the items in your dictionary. How about, for example, if you say dictionary one, pop Ahmad, and then print it again, see what we get. And now I'm gonna remove this to make it kind of, okay, see, here we have, this is before that pop option. We have all the keys and values. After we popped Ahmad, the entry Ahmad and the value, which is no longer there. So Ahmad value is no longer there. It basically pops or removes that item from your dictionary. Let's see if we can pop with a key value instead of first name using the key, which is the last name. Let's see. Okay, no, it doesn't work. It only works with the key. Okay, go ahead, please. Pause the video, uh, define your dictionary. Define at least two different dictionaries. Each one has at least 5 items in it, and try to play with them uh, and try to kind of use the functions. Anyone that we said or those that we didn't cover, try to go over and play with them. And uh, before that, I also want to add this, that we can define our dictionaries, and we don't have to always make them or keep them string. It can be, for example, let's say we can define basically, and it can be a dictionary of anything, text to text, text to number, number to text. For example, we have a bunch of names. Again, A, this is true. The application of this person got accepted. And then we have the person B, his application was rejected. And then we have person C, whose application again was true. So this can be also a dictionary. A dictionary can be something like this as well. To say, for example, 123, it gets converted to 342, and then 12 gets converted to, let's say, 8.54, and for example, -2 gets converted to 2300, and so on and so forth. And we can also print this dictionary tree, for example. So dictionary doesn't mean that it only limited to text. No, it can be anything. Basically, using function like these, dictionaries like this, you can define a hash function. Hash function is something you might have heard about it. It is used in security and cybersecurity. Hash function is actually a function that it takes your text and returns something to you that no one can comes back from the from that text to your original text. That is a hash function. And the major difference between the hash function and encryption is this. In encryption, when you apply that encryption on your text, you get something that later someone using a key, that person might be you, using a key, you can get from the encrypted text back to the original text. So encryption function is a two-way function. You can go from plain text to the ciphertext. You can get the you can go from A to B, and then later you can come back from B to A. That is encryption. However, in hash function, it's a one-way function. You go from A to B, and there is no way for anyone to come back from B to A. You can define a hash function like this using a dictionary in Python. This is your input text, and this is the output text. This is your input text, and this is that output text assigned to them. And there is no rule between these. So no one can say, okay, for example, this person is always multiplying by 2. 268. If I always multiply it by 2, I'm sorry, 46. If I always multiply it by 2, yeah, there is a rule. 123 becomes 246. And later, people using that rule can understand that, or can guess that if 264 is the output, the original input should have been 123. But using a dictionary, you can define a hash function, which basically there is no rule, so that the attacker cannot come back from the ciphertext to the plaintext. Anyhow, that was not directly related to our course. I just wanted to say that hash functions are one practical example that can be defined using dictionary in Python. Okay. We talked about dictionary. We talked about lengths of dictionary. What is next? You can refer to your dictionary again. If you want to refer to a dictionary for a specific index, you gotta use bracket for and here is kind of complex thing. We have a dictionary that this item, this key color, its value is actually a list. So we have a list of items for the value of this entry under this dictionary, just to show that this is possible. So those structures that we defined so far, list, tuples, and dictionaries, you can mix them. You can build even more complex data structures using a mixture of them. Here you're mixing dictionary and list. You can mix dictionary and tuples and lists, and so on and so forth. So let me see. Okay, let's also talk about a string, and then probably we can finish for today. So a string, as we have already used, are variables like here, as you see in this slide, like variable x, that they contain a string of characters. You can define them using double quote or single quote. You can define, sometimes they say you can declare them because you're saying them for the first time. That is declaration as well. If you want to define a string which is lengthy and you want to take more than one line, you can use triple double quotes like this for the start of your string or your paragraph, and then at the end of it. And you can do print, you can print your string, you can use the plus. So plus is kind of tricky here. We use the plus as for addition operation for values like integers and floats. But we also are allowed in Python to use plus for concatenating strings. Basically, it kind of put the strings together and make it a longer string. Let's see that. For example, if I say I'm gonna make these all kind of codes about dictionary comment, and I'm gonna define our string. I say, for example, my string, or let's say my str is how are you today? And then I define another one. I call it your str. I define this using double quote. I say I'm fine. How about you? And now you can print my string. You can define your string. Let's see. Okay, it worked. It prints both. If you want to make it multiple line, you can say, you can use triple double quote. You can say, I'm fine. How about you? Let's, okay, you see that it works. I'm fine. How about you? And all of those tabs that I use, it kind of put them so I can do it like this to make it nicer. And let's see if we can use triple double quote in a line. Yeah, it is still usable. We can use. And another thing we can do is the length. We can say print my string is a string with the length of, and then here we say length of my string. So this is the first time I'm using it like this, so that you can see that in a print function, you can have a message and then a variable. My string is a string with the length of 18. We can do this for the second variable, your string as well. Your, let's say, okay, I did it kind of intentionally. I didn't change the message here. It says my string for the second one. My string, because this is a message, it doesn't understand it. My string is a string with the length of, and now here I pass your string. So the length of your string is printed for my string. It's 25. So this type of thing are very tricky when it comes to debugging code. You put this, I put this my string, the name of the variable inside the message, and the Python interpreter doesn't, or even a compiler, they don't check the relation between your messages and your variables. So whatever here, it's like just some bunch of character. It doesn't look at it. So if you want to print the length of your string, you should make sure that the message that you're putting is accurate. So this is your string, not my string. The length 25. And now we can say, let's say z equal my string plus your string. And we can do the same thing with z. Now we can print z and say z is a string with the length of z. Okay, it printed everything. The length of z now is 43. Can I use a part of it twice? Yeah, you can say your string as many times as you want. And it adds and adds and adds concat. So the length of z is getting longer and longer. So can we search something in a string? Now that is a kind of nice question. Can we say, for example, can we say in this uh in this my string, my str, can we say if there is any word like, for example, how about you? Yes, we can say if you and my str. Okay, for if we'll say that at the end of the if statement you need a column, and then you need that indentation. We talked about it. And then we say print . the word you found in my string. Let's see. We run it. Yeah, it says the word you found in my string. So this searches my string for the word you and it prints this. Can say else. Else, this is kind of the other part of the if. How about if we say the word found in my string, the word not found, and the word we are searching is, for example, you. If we say you, it says, oh, else also need the word found in my. If I say, for example, something like game, game is not there for sure. So it says the word not found in my string. So that is about strings, concatenating strings, and you can for sure access different characters of a string using bracket, which basically means that the strings are seen as a list. And this is what we said. You can use the if and in function in keyword to see if if a specific word is inside your string or not. We covered all of these things. Yeah, I think that should be enough for today. We continue. Please review all of these things that I covered. The code is there. I just commented some part. You just maybe I can uncomment everything. So I can uncomment everything, and you please go. You have access to this code. Play with it. See, for example, if there is any function for strings. Let's check that. We define z. We say z dot. Yeah, you see tons of functions for a string. I don't want to cover them now because we later cover them in a different way, but you are welcome to go and study them on your own. Take a look. Please do this and play with the code. Try to do things on your own. In the first exam, which which is scheduled for October 8th, I will ask you about Python. Python is a part of the exam. So I'll be giving you Python code and I ask you what is the output, or I ask you to write a code to do something. So it's important to know these things because we need them for the rest of the course. So I think we should be good for today. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you on Tuesday in class in person. Take care and have a good rest of the day.